Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 307. And away we go.
Break some damn shot, boy. Is that the best that you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, yeah. I'm a street breaker. I'm a heartbreaker. This is my yard. I'm a mold breaker. Strip man, ain't your boy. About to seek and destroy. It's an SOW. Let me hear you make noise. Take a shot, boy. Is that the best that you got? We about to go live. Are you ready to rock? So take a shot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of A Shot of Wrestling. I'm your host at Michael J. Putty. We have a very, very special episode. Not only do we have one special guest, we have two. First off, please welcome the voice of BCW, the man himself, Mr. Cheyenne Ortiz. Cheyenne, welcome back to the show.
How we doing, friends? How we doing, Mike? How we doing, fans? Good to be back on.
And now saving the best for last, no disrespect, Cheyenne, the governor, the guiding lights,
Woo!
Mr. A.
Woo!
J. Pan. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thank you, my brother. Glad to be back. Always a pleasure. And I'm here with my guys tonight. I love it. It's gonna be a
That's
great
right.
episode.
We are the guys.
Yes.
Yes, we are AJ Pan guys, a title I wear very proudly. Thinking about getting shirts made for us, make your own little club.
It's a very small club, apparently.
Very
Yes.
small, yeah.
but
It's only positive in 4 of the 5 boroughs.
It's quality, not quantity.
I like the way that sounds. Yes.
Yes, it's quality. Yeah. So I approve of every member that is included.
Cheers to being AJ Pan guys.
Yes. Salud.
Salud.
Well, I have you both here because, for those of you living on a rock, last weekend was the 5th anniversary of BCW. Anniversary 5. What a show. I think we started with you guys right before Anniversary 2. So it's been a long partnership between BCW and Shot of Wrestling. So it's amazing. 5 years. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been quite a ride. I've been with BCW for almost its entire 5-year run. Seen a lot of changes, but we're back. And if this show was any indication of where we're going, I think we're on the right track to where I think we should be. We had a while off with the pandemic, but now we've been in the North 3, and now Anniversary 5. We're kicking things in a high gear.
Definitely. That was a great show that you put on last weekend.
Thank you. Yeah, me and Mr. Cole worked very hard on it. A lot of back and forth, a lot of changes, but we made it work. And yeah, I'm proud of everybody in that locker room who were there, put their bodies on the line for us. I'm very impressed with everybody.
Now, you wrote to the show with me and my former co-host, and en route, you were telling us all the problems going on. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot of fucking problems going on. I'm trying to tell you, try to stay upbeat. No, everything will work out. Everything will be fine. And amazingly, everything worked out. Everything was fine. The biggest problem you guys had was there was no DJ. There was no middle rope.
No, bottom rope.
You guys moved the bottom rope to the middle rope. A genius idea.
That's right.
Really good job.
That was one for the books.
Yeah.
Flights were delayed. People injured. 3 injuries that whole week leading up to it, and one that day pulled out. But yeah, we made it work. DJ didn't come in until like 10-15 minutes before bell time. But yeah, from what I've heard, people sitting in the stands, you wouldn't have known it because we all came together. We made it work, and that's what you got to do. You got to roll the punches. Card subject to change. Yeah. And definitely changed quite a bit, but hey,
A little bit.
just a bit. But you know what? That's what you got to do in pro wrestling. You got
That's
to roll
true.
with it. If you get too frazzled out, you're not cut out for the business.
I think we were eating your sandwiches. We got some, Babos? Cheesesteak sandwiches, and you were eating them. You finally finished first half, and then your phone was blowing up. People were bothering you. I think you barely got to finish the second half.
Yeah. But what I did have, I did enjoy. Shane Spears warned me off of it, but a big shout out to Doug Ellen, who did put me onto that spot. So,
Yeah.
Oh, that's the spot up the street, right?
Yes.
If it makes you feel better, because I just want to commend you and Cole. Awesome job. I don't need to go into any more details than that. You guys did phenomenal. You know what I mean when I say that. And if this makes you feel better, anything that was happening backstage did not look transparent on the program. I guess because the DJ took all your heat, is why. All right, and when you watch the show back when it drops, because AJ's kayfabing me on a launch, but, it's out there already in the dark webs. But the DJ took all the heat off of you guys. So anything that you had to deal with, don't worry about it. Nobody in the crowd noticed.
Well, okay, that's the main thing I worry about. So I'm glad, I don't care if I got to deal with the headache as long as it doesn't show in front of the people, and as long as the bottom line when the show's the final bell rings and the crowd is like, man, that was a great show. We had such a great time. In the end, it was all worth it.
Yeah, no, not a bit. And all things considered, ran very smoothly.
Very smoothly, yeah. You couldn't tell anything was wrong except the bottom rope was missing.
Want to shout somebody out real quick because I think it's important. And he was a big part of why things didn't look a certain way past the curtain, and that's Shane Fair.
Oh, absolutely.
Shane Fair, what kind of separates him from other ring announcers, and I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm not because everybody, it's 2022 and everybody takes everything personal. Shane was putting bandages on everything. He was the plate spinner. I usually call him the Rodney Dangerfield. Well, he was being the Don Rickles that night.
Right.
He was the plate spinner, kind of bringing everybody together, because if the DJ was stalling trying to find a song, you didn't know that because Shane was walking you through during entrances, before entrances, bringing it all together. He was coming up with impromptu segments, putting over Naya and things like that. He was top notch. So Shane's one of the MVPs of the show, along, of course, with all the men and women that performed.
Hands down.
Yeah, 100%. Shane is one of the unsung heroes. Everybody loves him, but they don't realize how much he does, and because he doesn't want it to be known. You just know he's just very quietly, what do you need? And then he goes, scampers off, he sneaks off, and he takes care of stuff. And he's done so many shows at that venue that he already knows, like, what needs to be done. Like, you just say, oh, we need to, okay, I'm on it. And and Shane still, he's in that middle part where, he's definitely been in a while, but he's still a fan at heart. He's still so passionate about wrestling.
Yeah, you can tell, too.
That it does, like, he's not jaded yet, which I love to say. A lot of us have lost that. He is still he shows up. He has a huge smile on his face. Like, you see in his eyes, like, he still loves it. I mean, we all do, but, like, a lot of us, like I can speak for myself. I've been broken down. I don't have, like you said earlier, like, how did I feel? Like, I had no emotion left. I'm like, okay, let's just see what else happens next. I can't even get mad anymore. Let's just see what's going to happen.
Right.
Where Shane he's already on, okay, what do you need? We're going to make this happen.
Props to him.
Yes, big shout out to Shane.
Yeah, big time.
And there's one point that people were shitting on the DJ. DJ was last minute DJ, came in last minute as well, and he fucked up one of the songs. The crowd turned on him. Shane was booing him as well. But then Shane realized, like, well, let's break kayfabe here. And like he just came in last minute. He's doing a hell of a job. And he saved it. And like that was a brilliant move on his part. Something else you needed to fill in. A couple people else didn't show up. You needed a commentator and break glass in case of emergencies. Sitting at the desk next to the voice himself, the guidance of Cheyenne Ortiz. I had fun. Thank you for the opportunity, and hope you enjoyed our work.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, that was another thing. Once I heard, we were down somebody, and I know, me and you have talked about it, Putty, and I also, Mark has talked about, and I thought it was just a perfect opportunity. Like, you know what? If you're down for it, and I know you had no, real preparation, but you followed our product, and if you wanted to go for it, I said, let's go for it. Perfect opportunity. An anniversary, why not? You've been with us almost as long as anybody. So
that's right.
Who else to represent, help us
Damn
represent
right.
our brands.
Hope you're proud of me. I hope you get another opportunity. But moving on to the actual show itself, what a show. Started out with, I think one of the matches people were looking forward to most, Rick Recon against Anthony Gangone. And that did not disappoint.
And we had the surprise of Prince Nana joining Anthony Gangone.
So added so much to that match. I don't think it needed more, but it got more, and it worked so well.
Yes.
It was nice to see Rick Recon come back as well. It was nice to see him come back as well. And then, when somebody comes back, it's either everything or nothing. And for Rick Recon, it was everything because it was a hell of a match, And Rick Recon also had a double shot, and it wasn't like he was phoning it in. He brought the pain.
True. And
he got a big-time victory against Anthony Gangone, one of the best talents in New York, New Jersey.
Yeah, without question. And, Rick's been doing his thing, the past year or so. He's really amped it up. He's been traveling all over, I sort of crossed the ring from him. So, professionally, we don't get along, but I do respect him. He's a hard worker. He has upped his game so much. But, he was in there with Anthony Gangone. And Gangone, I've known as you, Cheyenne, we've known him for years. I go back with him to the Five Boroughs days when he was a part of the Crusade for Change, and just seeing his evolution. And he's always been one of the hardest workers in the ring. So he's one of the guys too. He's one of the hardest workers, but he's very quiet. He comes up, he shows up, does his job, and that's kind of it. He's finally started to break out of his shell a little bit, but that's one of the things I kind of hate about the wrestling business, but I love at the same time, because a guy like Angone, he comes up, he shows up, and when he gets an opportunity and somebody actually sees his talent, that's when you know the company as well as him, they're doing something right, because he's the guy deserves the most. He is one of the best talents out there that kind of flies under the radar because, again, he doesn't quote unquote play the game.
True.
But I think Prince Nana made a bold proclamation. I don't know when, but at some point it's kind of inevitable. Anthony Gangone, BCW World Champion.
That's right.
I wouldn't put it past him. He definitely is deserving. I mean, he could definitely contend for it, and especially with Prince Nana in his corner, that's a definitely dangerous combination.
Yeah, so you had Rick Recon, Anthony Gangone, the legend Prince Nana in his corner. Rick Recon had some guy in his corner. What a hot start to the show, followed up by a couple of awesome women's matches. Then you had Bougie versus Alexander.
Jay Bougie, my good friend, come on.
Yeah. You see, it's weird because you just said Jay Bougie's your good friend. Yeah. And for some reason, in my gut, I believe that.
Yes.
But Mr. Ortiz was sitting to my left, and he said Bougie's his best friend. And in the pit of my gut, it wasn't believable.
Well, in life, you can have more than one best friend.
Oh, absolutely.
And we all have those best friends that kind of take when you call the other real, actual, deeply rooted best friend the truth. And then someone like AJ Pan, who's kind of sort of a best friend, but not really deep-rooted, true best friend. That other best friend that's just labeled a best friend, that best friend takes it to heart. And that's what happens with my homie, Jay Bougie, okay? And I'm down with the cause and the Bougie boot, and I'm his slippery sock, and I'm a big fan of Jay Bougie, and he picked up the win. And I spoke to him earlier. On Loop, the phone thing, Loop. And
no, I do not know that.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Yes, I don't think so, right?
That you guys aren't hip, okay? We spoke earlier on the Loop, and he hit me with the, okay, and I'm gonna get a T-shirt. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, he did tell me too. He was gonna give you a discount, but it's gonna be $15 out of $20.
No, I'm getting a free one.
Are you?
You weren't even invited to the Takeover show. I was invited. I was inviting guests to join him.
No, you were busy dealing with bureaucratic stuff because you're a fairly important guy. You're the guy. And, we got me and Jay Bougie, man, listen, big scoop. We got a quick session, little checkers, and tight game. But on this one, he actually beat me, man.
I thought it was backgammon.
No, it's always checkers first for 2 rounds, and then it's one quick game of backgammon.
Now, at one point during the Darius Carter match, the penultimate main event, Jay Bougie joined us on commentary. By us, I mean he took my spot. So was Mr. Pan, Mr. Ortiz, Mr. Bougie. Now, AJ Pan, can you, spoil it for people who haven't yet watched it? Did Jay Bougie collaborate Cheyenne's claims? Are they, in fact, best friends? Do they play checkers all the time?
No. Okay. Cheyenne was actually trying to accost Jay Bougie when Darius Carter mistakenly hit him.
I saw that, yeah.
You will hear it on commentary. He told Cheyenne to get off of him.
Wow.
I resuscitated Mr. Bougie.
No, he was screaming to get off of him. He did not like
Jay
that.
Bougie was assaulted. Jay Bougie was assaulted by the All-Father Darius Carter, and thank goodness that I am 3 times over CPR trained. I resuscitated Jay Bougie back to greatness.
Didn't look like that from afar.
Serenity had some words for that too. She's not a fan
can I
of
tell
right
you?
now either.
Can I tell you? I don't know what soap he uses, but it's got a lavender scent, and it is divine.
This guy's a creep.
Wow. Yeah, I got chills.
Yeah, very creepy. Yeah, it's almost as creepy as Mark Schwann.
Almost. Well, I don't know that name.
Almost as creepy as Mark Cohen. Almost.
A lot of good matches on the show, on the card. One of them was the first title opportunity. Blonde Force Trauma defended against the Hex. But that was a very fun match to watch. I think his spot's been blowing up on my social medias was the Tortilla Challenge.
That's right.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was wondering why they asked me to go shopping in the middle of the show for them. And, they asked me to get tortillas. So I'm not a big TikTok guy, but that was entertaining, except for Allison K spitting water in my face.
But thankfully you had the shades covered.
Pay extra for that.
Yeah.
You know, I do sometimes, yeah. And it was hot in that building, so it was a little refreshing, actually.
That it was.
Yeah.
I mean, pulling the
a
curtain.
lot of those fans would have paid $75 for that.
A lot of them would have, including Mr. Ortiz himself.
Yeah,
They would
for
have,
sure.
yeah.
For sure.
Pulling the curtain back, though, backstage, though, people were like, oh, how far is the nearest store? Can we like Uber Eat something? Like, what are you guys talking about? Next thing I know, you're walking in with soft tortillas. I'm like, what are they talking?
Somebody gave me the wrong name of the store that was in the area.
I want to gloss over the fact that during a tag team championship match between four awesome, kick-ass, beautiful women, there was the action stopped for a tortilla challenge in the middle of a championship match. If you had not seen it yet, please check out social medias. Make sure you check out the show when it's available. It was a spot I'm still talking about today. Obviously, amazing spot. Ruthless Lala opponent got injured. You guys changed it to a best of 7 series with Mr. Wolf. That did not disappoint either.
I mean, we knew when it was about to come to a head, it was gonna be a hell of a match. I've just seen what they've done on social media. I still don't even know I'm not involved in that auntie, nephew, family feud, whatever they got going on. As the governor, I'm just worried about the BCW Women's Championship, which I did not like Isaiah Wolf having and running off with it.
Oh, true.
Ruthless Lala has been a hell of a champion. She's been defending it ever since she won it against Vanity, and she's been to other promotions defending the championship. She's a kick-ass competitor. It was very sad that Riley Shepard had to pull out of the event due to injury. Wish her the best, and hopefully she'll be back soon. But she needed an opponent. There was nobody at the time, just I think, who was available who was qualified enough to challenge at Anniversary for the Women's Championship. So me and Mr. Cole put our heads together. We went to everybody, and you know what? We said, if you're going to kick off your best of series and you need to start somewhere, Anniversary's the spot. And let's just work this out. And we won our championship back on top of it.
Selfishly, I hope this goes to full 7 matches because the first match is any indication. This is going to be a highlight, and then the show's coming up.
Oh yeah, and let's not we got to call it out. Isaiah Wolf, he did win the match. 10-minute time limit, he won it with 7 seconds remaining.
7 seconds, yeah. So
7 seconds remaining. It was neck and neck. He was able to pull it. I'm not going to say he was lucky, but he was able to pull it out. But it took literally almost the entire time. Yeah. And going back and forth with someone the caliber of Ruthless Lala, one of the most dangerous competitors in the game.
Then you had the Queen of Anarchy match.
Empress of Anarchy,
Empress,
yes.
That's what it was.
Vicky, came out on top of that. Yeah, we've had it. We've had a lot of twists and turns with that. Jordan Blade won our previous one in Queen of the North, so
yes.
Now we have Vicious
That's
Vicky.
right.
So, and Jordan Blade upset by Christina Marie.
That was also a great women's singles contest. That it's tough because so many things get lost in the shuffle when you have the title matches and the stipulation matches. But as an exhibition, that was great as well. That was a great match. Both women delivered, great shows of strength there. And real quick to touch back to Ruthless Lala and Isaiah, intergender wrestling is done well often because it's commonplace again. And I think that they did exceptional. First match in the series, look forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think me and Mr. Cole have said it on various podcasts coming back into Queen of the North after seeing, all the women making history that night. We're going to, we're not really going to, it's more going to be about the competitors themselves, not intergender. Like, we don't want it to be something that's an attraction. The talent, no matter if you're male or female, it's about the talent being good or not. So, if you're a great female talent, we're going to put you on. You might, it's not going to be, a female's match, a men's match, a women's match. Going forward, it's just who is going to be the best competitor to be on our show. So everybody has to step it up now. Men, it's not, there's, like every other company out there, you have one women's match, you have 2 women's matches, and it's a special attraction. No, a lot of the women are better than some of the male matches out there.
Yeah, true.
It's who can carry the ball, who can put the best, their best effort out there, both in the ring, personality-wise, who is going to be out there that the people want to see. That's what it comes down to nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, hell of a show. Then you had Darius Carter against Reverend Ron Hunt. That match was, I was there in commentary for half of it, got kicked out, and then and that match was probably one of my favorite matches I've seen in a while. It was a great match. Those 2 guys have chemistry right off the bat, and it was awesome.
Storytelling was
on point.
Was phenomenal in that one.
Darius always delivers. So Darius is just one of the best talents out there that's not signed. Reverend Ron Hunt is fantastic as well. That was definitely, you knew it was going to be magic that when they went in the ring together.
That was my first time seeing seeing Ron Hunt in person. I'd seen his matches on YouTube, but I'd never called one or seen him work, and delivered all the same as Darius.
Oh, he's intense. Like I said, I was out there during the TakeOver versus SDP show. I was out there at ringside with Jay Bougie when they had the Flaming Croc. And, yeah, and he is a person. You look into his eyes, he definitely puts the fear of God in you.
So you actually hung out with Jay Bougie?
Well, I was an invited guest for his show. I came out to ringside with him.
Wow, okay.
On such an important night in his career, he asked me
Impressive.
to help guide him and be there to represent.
Well, you know what I did when Jay Bougie entered the arena? I raised the roof.
He actually did raise the roof, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that might have been why the rope was missing.
And then, as Jay Bougie was rounding the corner around the ring, he looked at Mr. Ortiz here, dead in the eyes. Ortiz was waving like a 12-year-old girl meeting BTS.
He's my friend.
And he was reciprocated with a middle finger.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
we explained this. No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Ryan Peterson walked past the commentary booth and he flipped off Ryan Peterson.
I mean,
he waved at me.
Flip off Ryan Peterson? He looks like Mr. Potato Head.
Wow.
Nobody likes him.
Exactly.
Wow. We like you, Ryan. Thank you.
No, he don't.
I mean,
Don't
everyone
put
was
him over.
getting.
He's the worst. He's horrible.
Everyone was getting concerned. They were like, "Oh, the concession stand sells hot dogs now, like good hot dogs." And we're like, "No, Ryan's under the lights again." It was fine. It was fine.
Insert ba-dum-bum.
Little Bobby Heenan joke. It's probably gonna offend him and so many people because they don't know that's a Bobby Heenan joke. I can't wait.
Talk about that main event. Marina Shafir defending the BCW championship.
That was an incredible contest. I was speechless. For the first time in my life, I was speechless at the end of that encounter.
I'm sorry, you? I've never known
Yeah,
AJ Penn to be speechless.
That's why I was so happy.
Wow.
But that's how shocking it was. I mean, that match. And we have to talk about, too, like that match came about in the span of maybe 3 days.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was originally supposed to be Marina Shafir defending against Casey Catal. Unfortunately, she broke her hand. She was not able to compete. Myself and Mr. Cole, we decided, you know what? We're going to let Casey, who do you think would be a suitable replacement for you? And if you can't have one Kirk, you have the other. She's like, Brandon will step in. And he didn't even just step in. He made a statement.
He went for the jugular. Let's say what it is, man.
Oh, as soon as the introduction, he friggin' just went at her, which you need to do. He came at Marina Shafir, and that match was, and it definitely also, I want to say, prove like some people, you may think of Brandon Kirk, Casey Kirk as just, death match wrestlers. No, he proved tonight he could hang in an actual wrestling match with an MMA specialist, and he delivered in that match. It could have went either way. We could have saw a new champion. That match was very back and forth, but again, it shows how badass of a champion and a competitor Marina Shafir is. That
she truly is.
She just snapped out of nowhere, and she locked the submission in, and Brandon had to tap out immediately.
And immediately is like an understatement. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah, I was literally in shock when I saw what happened. But you don't talk about someone's child.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, that made her snap, and you don't want to have Marina Shafir snap.
No, she'll snap your limbs. So
I don't want to have Marina Shafir unsnap. If that makes sense. But then if she snaps, I'm even more scared.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like you don't tug at Superman's cape. You don't make Marina Shafir snap.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. She's been great to work with. I am proud to have her as our world champion. But yeah, you still want to walk on eggshells around Marina Shafir.
And you mentioned that you're proud to have her as your champion, which I think we all are, based on her performances, what she's doing on social media. It's also fun for me as a BCW fan and loyalist to see that she's proud to be our champion as well. And that's a refreshing take, and she's just killing it, and props to her. Brandon was there, of course, but there's a lot of injuries. People didn't show up. But Casey Catal still showed up and did commentary on that match. Instead of being in the match, she did commentary for that match. I thought it was very respectful on her part. Yeah,
definitely kudos to Casey. She was looking forward to. She was supposed to be in our, when we had the Queen of the North in January when it was scheduled before, COVID arose again. She was going to be in that original Empress of Anarchy match. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it for the March show, but she has wanted to make her debut with BCW for a while. And then she had the opportunity to be in a main event against Marina Shafir, and she was very disappointed when she couldn't. But she, when she named Brandon her replacements, she definitely said, "I'm still going to be there. I'm going to show my support. I'm going to be there with my husband." And we said, hey, would you like to join us on commentary while you're here? And she's like, I'd love to. And that's how professional and that's how, great of a competitor and how much she wants. And she loves, again, another person who loves the business. Other people would have, said, oh, no, yeah, I'm not just coming for that. No, yeah, we'll try to work together in the future. She was there for everything. She had such a great time. And yeah, kudos to the Kirks. They are definitely, I don't want to ruin their image, but they're two great people. Two badasses in the ring. I'll preface that with as well. They're two fantastic athletes. So happy to have them on board with BCW. And we will definitely, hopefully we can have, if she doesn't lose the title beforehand, Marina Shafir versus Casey Cattell at another time.
From a broadcast standpoint, also, she added great depth to the commentary team. Obviously biased. She is, Mrs. Kirk and such. But I got to tell you that she delivered from a broadcast standpoint.
There were some times she did stand up for Marina when he said,
yeah.
Wow.
When he jumped in the mic,
as a woman, yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. She did. I didn't want to let that out, but I feel better now that it is.
Yeah, no, we had to bring that. Hey, they faced each other in the ring, so she's not afraid to talk against her husband. But she loves him. But hey, if he F's up, she's gonna call him out on it, and she did.
Yeah.
But no, she had a great time. Yeah, we had a great time calling it with her. It was definitely a great way to end a crazy, a action-packed day. And the match delivered. Getting to work with Cheyenne and Casey on that match was fantastic. Couldn't have asked for a better period. Or exclamation point, I want to say to Anniversary.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for being here. We had a great time at BCW's 5th anniversary. Thank you for dissecting it. What two better people than you gentlemen. So thank you for making time for us here tonight. But that wasn't the only thing that happened last weekend. It was the second biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam. So let's get right into that.
It's time for this week's TV Takedown.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sitting through us talking about BCW's 5th anniversary. We are the official podcast of BCW. We're so official. We are no longer covering the show for the podcast. We are part of the family. When you hear your family, and that includes BCW, so make sure you check them out on all their social medias. Make sure you check it out when the show comes out. The show's coming out, was it?
Title Match Network.
Sweet. SummerSlam, an event I watched with Mr. AJ Pan at Hooters at the official watch party, after party of BCW's anniversary. Cheyenne, unfortunately, you weren't there to watch it with us, but you checked out SummerSlam?
I was able to catch it once I got back home after being an adult and buying a microwave, yeah.
That's right, you got to buy a microwave. Did you buy it in a store or online?
No, I went. You got to go and buy it in a store. It's an appliance.
You can buy it online.
You can buy it online.
No, you got to go. No, you got to go look at it.
Amazon.
No, absolutely not. You have. It's an appliance. You have to go look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You got it. First of all, there's a whole. When you're buying a microwave, it's like buying a car. Got to go.
That's not true when it comes to microwave.
Gotta test the eject button. Number one. Okay. Number two. Got to make sure your console, your buttons are all working out. Got to make sure it's got.
Cheyenne, I love you. No disrespect. This is a wrestling podcast. We'll get into this later. SummerSlam.
Well, I do have a question though. Like, what store do you go to where they let you test? Like, do you bring your own bagels or bread? And
well, I usually go
popcorn?
to either Walmart or Bed Bath because they've got a fantastic showroom for appliances.
And like, do you bring your own pizza bagels and try the buttons and the eject and make sure they cook correctly?
Well, I go and I get the Hungry Man XLs and I make sure that they fit in there.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Man knows what he wants.
Thank you.
All right, as long as he able to test it. And okay, back to SummerSlam.
So SummerSlam,
Hooters.
After party at Hooters in New Jersey, Edison, New Jersey. Me, AJ, Mark thought it would be a hop, skip, and a jump. No, it was a half hour south of where we were. Biggest surprise of my life.
Yeah.
After traveling a half hour, again, south of where we were, we find Hooters.
Yeah. I was told it was north, and just add that on to the day. But it ended up being a great time.
We had a great time. We get there just in time. I think it was the middle of the opening match, Bianca Bel Air versus Becky Lynch. And we caught the tail end of that. And that was the best match to catch the tail end of because of the return of one of my favorites, Bayley.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the commentary, the audio was low. So I see the reaction of the crowd. I see Bianca's reaction. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I didn't hear anything. Then Bayley comes out looking hotter than ever. Then she's joined by the unsigned Dakota Kai and Io Sky. What a hot start to that show.
Yeah, it was a great part to walk into. We saw a fantastic match between Bianca Bel Air and Becky Lynch. And then as soon as that was over, even though it kind of worked with no sound, since we couldn't even hear the music. All of a sudden we see Bailey walk out like, oh shit, what the fuck is this? Bailey's back.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Kind of better, yeah.
Walking out, and then all of a sudden, like, we see it stop, and what's going on? And then Dakota Kai shows up, like, oh, wait a minute, wait, see, like everybody else, like, she was released, she's back, like, oh, all right, go Triple H, all right.
You're right.
And then on top of that, like, wait, it's not over yet, and Io Sky comes out. So that was definitely a banger of a way to kick off the show. Big fan of that. And then to see Becky join up with Bianca, like, we were kind of watching, and like a lot of us there, some of the fans we were watching with thought there was going to be maybe a turn, and no, Becky aligned herself with Bianca for the time being, and now we'll see when Becky's back from injury where exactly that goes. So already a lot of good storylines going on the Raw side of things.
Yeah, big time. We heard that Becky being heel was a Vince decision, so here we are, the first big premium live event Triple H is making with Mark already. Right off the bat, the first match with the first 25 minutes. Becky face turn and the return of those three heels.
I was actually discussing this earlier with a friend of mine, which a lot of people didn't pick up on.
Jay Bougie?
I was like a little behind on shows, and I watched maybe a couple days ago that Raw, that Monday, when Triple H was named the head of creative.
The MSG show?
Yes.
The one I was at, by the way.
And the way it started off immediately, like it went on to air with The Miz and Logan Paul brawling. You could see that's already was Hunter's handprints all over it, because Vince, he has his, paint by numbers. That's worked for him, but it would have started off with the commentators talking about Raw, hyping up SummerSlam, Vince's music hits, 10-minute promo. Like, no, the show started off with urgency. Like, they go on the air.
Right.
The announcement sound like, oh my God, like, look at this. Like, we didn't even get on the air. They're brawling before the show started. Like, that's immediately a little thing, but it showed you this is a new era. And we're going to do things, hopefully, the way the fans have been clamoring for.
Raw for a couple of years was like Saturday Night Live, in that textbook format of how it opened. So if Logan Paul would have came out and done that and hit a home run just to be assholes, New York would have not.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
They never give him a chance.
No.
Now, do you think after his performance at SummerSlam, crowd reaction will change? Because I think that was on par with Bad Bunny's performance.
I think it definitely changed
a
lot
better.
of people's perceptions, because I haven't I haven't really seen a bad word about him ever since SummerSlam. People are praising him, saying what a great performance he did. It shows that he cares about his involvement with WWE. No matter how I heard he's not going to be around for a little bit now, but whenever he is going to be around, it seems like he actually does care about being. It's not just a payday for him. He actually enjoys what he's doing with World Wrestling Entertainment and being a part of that world. And it showed. And again, sitting there watching that night, it's funny, again, a lot of people hate on it, but you got to give credit to The Miz. The guy's second match made him look like $1 million.
Yep.
And another guy, he doesn't care. He knows, he took the clean pinfalls for him, and he's the one that's going to be back on Raw. It's not going to hurt him because he's a professional. He knows how to make things work.
Yeah. I think that's why he's always in the best spot possible, because he's
Correct.
about business.
Yeah, because he's smart. Other people would, maybe bitch and moan, where Miz is smart. He knows, like, dude, I'm working an angle with Logan Paul, who's one of the most recognizable figures, like it or not, in the United States or in the world right now. So you're working with him. You're going to be on every major media platform.
Exactly, yes.
They're going to talk about, coming up to, later on, Logan Paul wrestled at, the wrestling event last night against The Miz, and that leads to more opportunities for him. That's why he's lasted so long. The Miz is one of the most smartest guys in the industry. He's earned his stripes without, light years. 2-time Grand Slam champion. He does anything that is asked of him. He transcended wrestling.
2-time Grand Slam champion.
He's been on Dancing with the Stars. He has his own reality show that's now been 3-4 seasons in. They keep wanting new episodes. One of the most entertaining superstars they have had in the last, I'd say, 15, 20 years. And he's known how to reinvent himself. He works with anybody. He's done stuff from Damian Sandow to the Miztourage with his wife Maurice to now Tommaso Ciampa. I was laughing, sitting at the table with, some of the talent, and we see Ciampa come out with the green robe like the Miz, and it's like, it looks weird, but it works, and they make it work. And
it does work.
You would on paper, you'd be like, Miz and Ciampa, how the hell? That makes no sense. But you see them together, and Miz makes a. I'm sure a lot of not against I love Tommaso, great worker, fantastic talent, but it shows the Miz's entertainment influence. He gets that side of it. You put him with somebody, he's going to make it work. He's going to make it entertaining, and he's going to do his best to make it one of the most talked about things on the program.
You guys have any favorite matches, favorite moments of SummerSlam?
I'm a huge Pat McAfee mark, so
yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts of the evening.
What part exactly? The match itself, or any specific part?
Like everything. Seeing as soon as Corbin came out, you had the choir.
That was great. That was going to point.
Ass Corbin.
Yeah.
And then just him coming out to fanfare with his little Titantron, and he was made for this industry. He's just
how did you like? Here's a good one because fans are really, really contingent about this. How did you like WWE's version of his theme song? Because that's a very big Vince thing. Vince hates paying the rights for music because it costs a fortune. And I was like, not for nothing, out of all the WWE imitation songs, let's just call them, like they're trying to get that version of such and such song. I was like, not for nothing, this is a pretty good Wish.com version of the White Stripes Logan Paul song. So, Pat McAfee song. So what did you think of that? Because, you guys didn't hear that, did you?
No, at that point, the volume was turned up. But at that point, I wasn't thinking the comparison to the White Stripes. I'm like, this is cool. But I heard the chanting, the crowd chanting along. And it did sound familiar to me, but I didn't put two and two together at that point until I read the reactions the next day. Like, oh, that makes sense. That was cool.
Yeah. And then WWE, being the geniuses they are, they had the Titantron queued up with the oh. So you really would have not known the difference.
No, not at all.
No, and then the fanfare too. The cheerleaders coming out with him, and it was just they know how to work around stuff. But again, they know what they have in him, and it was done perfectly to help get him. I mean, not help get him over. He doesn't need help. He's fantastic, but it adds to his persona. And it was a great spectacle. He worked, and Corbin's very underrated. Corbin has been a great heel for the company.
Massively.
Yes. Yeah, so
please preach.
Definitely a great, and they have the built-in story, which many people don't know. They did tell it well, and I didn't realize they were former partners on the other Cold. So
roommates.
Yeah, roommates. Yeah, so it was definitely cool, and you have that. What people joke about, you have that hashtag long-term storytelling, and it worked out well. They were all having fun. And even Michael Cole, this is working with McAfee has rejuvenated him so much. Like you could tell he's genuinely enjoying what he's doing now again, and just like you could see the genuine friendship between them, and watching him get up and be involved and just be happy or scream at Corbin, it's great. It adds to everything, and it helps us be entertained. So I love all of it.
During the Constable Corbin era, around that time, I named Baron Corbin my Superstar of the Year during year-end Putty Awards because I think every week is on my TV, whatever they give him, he hits a home run with. And still to this day, whatever they give him, he hits the home run. Bum-ass Corbin, King Corbin's downfall, bum-ass Corbin, now the rise of Happy Corbin. I just think Baron Corbin is freaking underrated. And thankfully, me and my former co-host had a great conversation with Darius Carter at Hooters during the after party. And Darius Carter feels the same way. He thinks Baron Corbin is underrated, a great competitor. Whatever you give him, he makes, what was the quote? Chicken salad out of chicken shit, or chicken shit out of
very old school term, but that's it.
Yeah, and it's just, I think Baron Corbin, everyone hates Baron Corbin, but you're supposed to hate him.
Exactly.
Right.
But I don't think he has the respect he earns. I think hating somebody and respecting somebody are two different stories, and I think eventually people realize how great he was.
Well, he's one of the talent. He doesn't get and I hate to say it, but it's that quote unquote X-Pac what it was called back in the day.
Oh yeah,
he gets genuine heel heat because he's such a great. You actually hate him. It's not like you don't want to see him on TV. It's you hate his character. Even so, I loved watching when he was doing the Down and Out Corbin because there were points where he was able to get some vulnerability out of it. You felt bad for him.
Yeah, blood out of
the
stone.
And then the next sentence, he would say something arrogant. Like Kevin Owens, oh, $20. 20, that's all you can give me?
Yes.
Come on, I know you're making oh, come on, bro.
Same thing with John Cena, too, yeah.
And that's the genius of a guy like Corbin that people don't really pick up on. Yeah.
When it's all said and done, Corbin is going to probably be a top 5, maybe top 3 standout from the original NXT.
Yeah. It was funny. I was thinking about I was watching tonight, watching his match against Ricochet, and I was like, wow, he's come such a long way from, just coming to Lone Wolf and the people doing the countdown during his matches.
Yep.
And just being so silent, and now he's come to this where he could make almost anything work.
He does make everything work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, big kudos to Baron Corbin.
I'm going as far as to say future Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
One of my favorite matches of the year has been the Usos Street Profits Money in the Bank. Looking forward to this match at SummerSlam, the rematch with my man Jeff Jarrett. How'd you guys feel met up to the expectations?
I thought it delivered. I thought considering, they had the challenge of how do we get the special referee aspect in there without it screwing somebody over? That's one of those things in wrestling, like a wrestling wedding. You're like, oh, sabotage, right? You're not expecting them to live happily ever after. Having said that, when you have the special referee aspect, even if it would have been until the next night on Raw, you're thinking Jarrett's going to pick a side or something. Jarrett's going to cost them, protect them, whatever it is. They didn't go that route. I think I didn't watch Raw, so, I think I didn't catch all of SmackDown, rather. It was weird. It was like they were teasing the breakup, and yet they weren't. There was a lot of Dawkins in the match, but there was a lot of Ford also. So it kind of made me like, oh man, maybe they really are going to break them up. But, everybody, won clean and fought hard and everybody went home happy. It was an epic tag team match.
That was really good. I compared Montez Ford, I think a year ago. I felt he had very Rock-esque vibes to him. The Rock vibes from the Nation Domination era. I feel like he's going to be a breakout star. But then when I saw Dawkins do Money in the Bank, I'm like, this guy is not a slouch either. He's no Marty Jannetty.
Exactly.
And I think these guys together would be freaking fantastic. But they've been teasing them since, there's tension between these teams. The guys are fighting. There's some beef between the guys. On commentary. It's not shown on the screen, but commentary is mentioning it. Like, okay, that's weird. I think they're going to break them up. But at the end of that match, I feel like, okay, maybe they're going to break him up. Do you think they should break him up? Because in the WWE Universe, there aren't that many solid tag teams yet. And what other tag team is going to beat the Usos? There aren't tag teams anymore.
I think we feel that there's no tag teams because the question is who's going to beat the Usos.
Truth, yeah.
Right?
They beat
and
everybody.
I'm not going to say that WWE has this plethora of tag teams. It's not what I'm saying. I feel like we're downplaying the division because nobody has beaten the Usos. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the way champions used to be and how they should be, that credibility.
Truth.
Having said that, I kind of don't want them to split because for me it'll be too soon.
Me too.
Even if you look at their NXT combined with the Raw and SmackDown tenure, for me it'll be a little too soon. But if it happens, I guess I hate talking like this because I feel like it comes with like a stigma. I'm prepared for them to break up because WWE has done that.
Unless they're breaking up in the draft in October or November, whatever's coming.
Yeah, I really don't hope I hope they don't break them up either. I guess they're planting the seeds just in case.
Yeah.
Again, it goes to Triple H not being head of creative.
Exactly.
And hopefully we see a changing of the guard. We know Vince was not a big fan of teams in the later runs. We would see maybe a brief spark of tag team division, like, oh yeah, just giving them a push, and then they split people up. We wouldn't see much of tag teams. Triple H again, he's more old school. We saw even too, when he was in NXT. There was a big run of tag teams there. So I do hope they stick together. Again, like you both have said, Dawkins has really stepped it up. He's shown he is definitely on the level with Montez, and they are equals, I think, at this point. Yeah. Montez, slight edge just because of promo skills.
Yeah,
but Dawkins, he's definitely...
But Dawkins also hasn't been given that opportunity.
That's true.
That's true, yeah.
I'm not trying to say that he's in that conversation, but we're not going to know it till he's had the opportunity.
No, yeah, you're right. Definitely. He's like no slouch. Like I enjoy their work together. But Montez, we got to say, he shines.
Oh no, he's
great.
But
yeah.
Dawkins is no slouch.
He's next level on a mic as of now, for sure.
Sure. But Dawkins has been working hard, and I'd say they're back at a place where I think they're valuable as a team for the company.
Right.
That main event, Last Man Standing, thoughts?
It was different. Yeah,
Great way to put it,
I
yeah.
mean, it's tough how you're gonna. Supposedly that was Brock's last chance at the title until they decide something. Yeah. How are you gonna do a last man? We've seen Roman in last man standing matches, but now it's against Brock Lesnar. So how do you have a match with him, and then you have also the added question mark of whether Theory was going to get involved, which he did.
Yeah.
It was. I didn't hate it, but I could see where people would have hated it. It was different. It was a WWE last man standing match. I guess that's the best way to put it.
First?
Right.
I mean, he comes out with a tractor trailer and lifts up the ring.
First last man standing match in SummerSlam history? That blew my mind. Was it?
Possibly.
Sounds right.
It sounds right. There could possibly have been one more, but I think that might have been the first one.
No, that sounds right because Shane and Steve Blackman was just hardcore.
Yeah.
There weren't many gimmick matches besides the ladder at SummerSlam prior to 99.
Rock and Foley was Royal Rumble.
I think that's accurate.
That might be. Yeah, I think 99% sure that's accurate.
And a great comment Corey Graves made on his podcast was that the blow-off to feuds, rivalries, big epic rivalries, the blow-off back in the day was hell in a cell. Now that's become a gimmick and a pay-per-view in and of itself. He felt that Last Man Standing is nowadays the ultimate blow-off to a feud. I feel like he has a point because I don't see too many Last Man Standing matches these days unless it's a point to blow off something.
Yeah.
Someone made a comment online, I think it was Twitter, that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar has main evented as many SummerSlams as they have WrestleManias. Fun fact. I went back to check. That's true. Yeah, I think it was like 3-3.
No, it is correct.
Oh, wow.
It is correct.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, here's the other thing, too, to kind of back up Corey Graves' point, and AJ being the senior man could co-sign this. Originally, the ultimate, mind you, it was kind of whored out by the 80s, too. The ultimate settlement was the cage, right?
Yes.
And then Shawn, and even though, mind you, you got cage matches all the time in the 80s, kind of wind down a bit in the 90s from like 94 to like 97. We get the Hell in a Cell match. And then, like Graves had mentioned, it became a pay-per-view and its own gimmick in and out of itself. Mm-hmm. Then you take the cage match. They're just kind of on TV to be on TV. I don't mean this in a nasty way, but I don't remember the last good cage match I saw on television, me personally.
Oh, sure.
And then you guys know this. If you go to the live events, you're probably going to get a cage match, especially if it's the Christmas show. So other gimmick matches have become more and more significant, especially Last Man Standing, because the idea is no restrictions. It's beyond the walls, right? So that makes sense. For me, it was the right kind of theater, if that's okay to say.
Yes.
For me, it was the right kind of theater because also it's like a cage. It's like a cell. What the hell do you even do? Every match type is about innovation. You're not going to see these guys hitting 450s off of stuff. So I personally enjoyed it. I thought it was different. I thought everybody in there came out looking like a winner. From Theory to Brock to Roman. Everyone in there came out like a winner. Brock Lesnar has the credibility where he could beat someone with their bare hands. So you're going to have to incapacitate him and literally bury him to defeat him. So for me, it was the right kind of theater. I'm not going to say it was like the greatest SummerSlam match of all time, but if we look at just the Roman and Brock feud, it's one of their better matches. Oh, yeah.
I think so, too, yeah.
It needed to accomplish what it needed to accomplish. I mean, again, we're going back like Last Man Standing matches, like, of course, I think Roman and Owens from the Royal Rumble during the pandemic era was much better, much more well done. They worked a much better match. But, what was, again, going back to Cheyenne, it did what was needed. Because you need to keep Brock. You can't have Brock lose, and it's weird to say cleanly in a Last Man Standing, but you need to do something kind of gimmicky. So having him buried by the Usos and Roman, and Heyman getting involved, hitting him with the F5, it was like a perfect storm to have Roman go over, keep his title reign going, to send Brock off for a while. It was well done, but again, was it the best match? No. Was it the best Last Man Standing match? No, but it was definitely needed what it needed to accomplish. Wasn't hard by any means. I could see where people would criticize it, but it served its purpose.
It was entertaining. Yeah, it was good.
It was entertaining. I enjoyed it. I didn't have an issue with it. Theory didn't get, buried either. He came out, he tried. Obviously, against they both were still kind of strong, and even they went back to him one point and smacked him with the briefcase, and it was comical. So, but he still has it. So, yeah, it worked for everybody involved. Lesnar's out for a while now, so he decided to come back. Reigns is still undisputed WWE Universal Champion, and Theory still can out boast the briefcase, and he's dangerous now for another 10 months.
There wasn't much to TV until the last 30 seconds of SmackDown, where we see Drew McIntyre face-to-face with Roman Reigns talking about their clash at the castle coming up in, I believe, the beginning of September. Lights go out. Scarlett comes out. Music hits. Karrion Kross is back, ladies and gentlemen, and I marked out. I mean, we thought he was coming back. We didn't know he was coming back. And that's what I'm liking about the Triple H era so far. There's no leaks of they're coming back. AJ, your thoughts on the last 30 seconds of SmackDown?
Yeah, I was shocked. It was funny because at the top of the program, I was texting a couple of friends of mine, and we were discussing, what do you think, who do you think is going to come back? Who do you want to see come back out of, the released people? And, I'm hoping, I want to see Johnny Gargano and Candice come back, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But then, we were talking about Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Like, I think eventually they'll come back. And then by the time, 9:59 hits, and we're like, oh, what the hell just happened? Black and white screen, and Kross is back to his old gimmick, which I'm glad, back to the entire old NXT gimmick. Everything, the black and white Scarlett at the top of the ramp. He came out, and then she comes out with the hourglass, and the show ends with him looking at Reigns, tick-tock, and just a fantastic way to end SmackDown. Yeah, my mouth is open. I was like, oh, all right,
okay.
I'm here for this. Okay. Like, wow, okay, hell yeah, let's do this.
I don't know if losing to Roman Reigns hurts Karrion Kross here. I think someone needs to take, not both, but one of the titles off him. If they're not unifying them, take one of them off of him.
I mean, it's at a point, whoever takes it, it needs to be somebody that gets the rub.
But do they take
both? It can't
both?
be, again, it can't be like a Lesnar. It can't be, a
Agreed,
CD or somebody already established. It
Right.
needs to be someone to get that rub.
But do they take both titles, or do they take one?
I would say at this point, I think they should just leave it.
It's one championship.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always liked the one championship concept since they initiated it in 2002,
Yes.
with the idea being that the champion appeared on both brands.
Yes.
Having said that, when booked properly, having a champion on it, having a respective champion for each brand, when booked properly, also works.
I agree.
So
Sure.
I don't think there's a wrong method of madness here. But I will say this. If Karrion Kross on the road to WrestleMania, because let's face it, guys, nothing's going to happen till Survivor Series. You're not going to have you're going to have it's going to be a hell of a rest of the year, these last four months.
Hell yeah.
But you're not going to get a massive thing until probably Survivor Series, right?
Correct.
Or Clash. Let's be fair. Having said that, if Karrion Kross becomes fodder for Roman Reigns, but has a match that it's like, holy shit, look what this kid could do. Fans like us, we know what he can do. Fans like us, we know his capabilities. But to the WWE fan, to the non-NXT fan, him having a match with a Roman, even if it's a loss, makes his stock go up. Versus to me, McIntyre's at a place as a babyface that if he goes down to Roman, that's a big loss.
Yeah.
I think
I'm not trying to say that Karrion shouldn't be a champion. It's not that. But what I'm saying is he's literally coming in at a blank canvas, and that's what you used to do. I know I sound super old saying that, but you used to work the champion, win, lose, or draw, to get a rub.
Truth.
I don't know. I don't know how many people remember his brief Raw run, but
No, it wasn't. Okay, but the beginning of your sentence, I don't know how many people remember it. That genuinely feels like a lifetime ago.
It does, yeah. And it was different.
It does.
It was totally different from his NXT character.
And then, because if you really look at how long he was in NXT, if you're being honest, you might not even remember his first run with the company.
Oh yeah, no, it was a cup of coffee there as well.
Same thing, like you don't. Nobody is really talking about Drew McIntyre's first run with the company. Cody was there for 10, 12 years, and we're not even talking about that run anymore.
True.
So to me, if you give Kross the opportunity with the right players, Drew McIntyre and Karrion Kross can probably have a dope-ass match next Friday. It's going to be stellar. But in the October Premium Live, or somewhere on SmackDown for free. If Kross takes on Roman, the real winner is Karrion Kross.
We'll see what happens now. He's back. I'm so excited about it. I'm looking forward to what happens next week.
I think they set it up well enough where the tease is there for Roman, but I think it's set up for after the Clash. Now we have Drew, and we have a Drew Kross feud, and that will help build Kross, and that won't be so much as a loss to McIntyre.
And plus, you got to remember, Drew's going to get the match at Clash anyway. So unless they change it to a 3-way to save, McIntyre's babyface run, because he is the number one babyface in the company right now. There's no Cody, so it's him. So, that's a possibility. That's also very WWE. That's very wrestling. So, that's an idea too. Doing a 60,000 people show and having a heater, that works out for him too. I thought it was great. I saw it this morning that it was a possibility, and then I was like, holy shit, that's quick.
It's definitely an interesting time to be a fan again.
On that note, gentlemen, let's wrap things up. Again, thank you to both of you for being here. I could not have covered BCW's 5th anniversary without both of you here, so thank you for being here. And SummerSlam, of course. We watched SummerSlam at the after party at Hooters. We were supposed to drive you home, AJ. Thankfully, for me, I wanted to get home. We didn't because you stayed home. You stayed at Hooters to hang out with the all-father Darius Carter. I am sure there's stories. It wasn't interesting. I'm sure there's stories you can't tell us. But how was hanging out with Darius? It's on my bucket list in the city. You and Darius hanging out. How was that?
Me and Darius always have a great time when we hang out together. It's definitely, we always joke. It's like, people, wrestling scene nowadays, everybody leaves after the show, or a lot of the kids, they go play their video games. Yeah. Me and Darius are very old school. We go out and we're out till 3, 4 in the morning whenever we do go out. And
when you told me you guys...
and that's what you see back in the day. Like, I remember, when I used to, travel when I was, younger, and I saw all the talents, and that's what they would do. They would be in the bars till 2, 3 in the morning and be up at 8, 9 a.m. in the gym the next day. That's the way the business was. It was a rock and roll lifestyle. And, not saying we're trying to be those people. That's just how, I guess, we were brought up, and that's how our lifestyles kind of are. And, we always do. We always, when we get together, it's one of those nights that...
When you guys told me you're going to the city with Darius Carter, I'm like, oh, shit, that's going to be a fucking late-ass night.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was.
Yeah. To co-sign, I don't get a lot of shows where guys do that. But I know what my evening is going to be when I'm with AJ, and if nothing else, I go and I have at least 2 rounds with him, or I say it's only 1, because I got work the next day, and then he gets me nice and comfortable. He rubs my big shoulders, and then he convinces me to stay. But it's very true. It's, there's 3 different guys in the business: the diner, the bar, or go home.
Truth.
Yeah.
And depending on the locker room, I kind of never know which one I'm going to get. But if AJ is there, I know it's okay, bar night, and it always times in with the last time I got to go out.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to hang out with Darius a lot in the last 2 years, and he's the best at a bar, man. He's the best. And AJ and I are really on the same frequency, so it's kind of nice to have the third when I've been with the 2 of them. So it's cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, just when me and Darius hang out, like even he'll give me looks sometimes, and he's like, yo, like we got to do more often. Like me and you together, like it's like outside of the show, we're just being each other, like, man, like he ain't even ready for this.
Yeah.
Because like Darius is very out there, like I am too, but I'm like, I kind of sneak along and let things, like even at the watch party, like I snuck out of the one room and I made it say, where a lot of the female talent were. We were just having a good conversation about the show, and he walks in, he looks at me, and he's like shaking his head, laughing. He's like, I don't blame you, and he's like, I understand you. He's like, wow. He's like, hey. We'll talk later.
I would never label you as low key, except when you're eating. But you're always where you need to be. That's where I'm going to put it.
Well, that's what I mean. You've seen Darius. Like Darius is still like no matter what he's on.
Yo,
yes,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, like me, like I am to an extent, but like I'm trying to play it cool until I see the opening. Like, oh hey, so all right, but I'm not like as out there as Darius. So. We're like a good, little mix, and then I kind of pop out of nowhere, like, hey, it's AJ Pan, baby, woo, what's up? No, it was a lot of fun to sit and, after the show and talk with, sit and actually watch SummerSlam with, people, Marina Shafir, Allison Kay, Marty Bell, Heather Monroe, and just talk the industry and, get their insights and share insights into things. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely a great way to end the evening. And then end the evening with Darius Carter, right, at the home office and, close the bar down.
Gentlemen, thank you for being here once again. AJ, thank you for giving me the chance at commentary. Cheyenne, thank you for believing me in commentary. Hopefully get another shot. Apparently the next show is going to be end of October.
End of October. We're finalizing the date right now, so we should have that in the next day or two up.
The Grand Dragon tournament.
When this is over, I'm going to get on the PS3. Me and Jay Bougie are going to play a little Modern Warfare 2. We're going to get our PSN party going, and we're going to use our PlayStation Eye camera. And he'll probably give me the scoop on.
I've been getting messages from him on Instagram. I have to hit him back up and see what he needs from the governor. And
I have Instagram too, but we just prefer talking on PlayStation 3 on a Friday night.
Yeah, we need to have a convo after this.
Are you sure? Again, are you sure you're talking to Jay Bougie? Because I don't think Jay Bougie has PlayStation 3 or Friendster.
Well, yeah, he's got a PlayStation 3. He's excellent at the Modern Warfare 2. He's not as good as me, but he's excellent at Modern Warfare 2.
Big question. Does he sound like him when you see him in person, or does he sound like an 8-year-old boy?
Well, I did notice he had the auto-tune on his mic, but it's him.
Okay. My guiding light, where can people find you on social medias?
You can find me on Twitter at AJPan_PCA and on Instagram at AJPanPC. If you want to get a cool AJ Pan t-shirt, storefrontier.com/AJ-Pan.
And if you're free on Tuesday nights,
yes,
they can find you hosting karaoke.
Yes. Pink's Cantina on 10th and 1st. It's a great time. Karaoke every Tuesday night from 8 to midnight. We have a blast. You've been down there, buddy.
Several times,
You've been down for it. Shady's been down for it. We've had Ruthless Lala.
Hey,
she came out for one. She has a fantastic voice.
She does.
On top of being
it's great.
Who came out?
I'm sorry?
Lala.
Who came out?
Lala.
I saw that. Yeah, with Cole.
Cole posted it. She has an amazing voice. Me and Buddy, we actually did one night with my baby tonight.
That's right.
Wow.
Hey, yeah.
My favorite. Yeah.
So we have a lot of fun. It's not wrestling, but we bring some wrestling elements, but it's a fun night. It's all inclusive.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go there with Jay Bougie so we could do "Say Say Say" by Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney.
So I guess that will never happen.
Yeah, he told me he's not coming when you're there.
Mr. Ortiz, where can people find you on social media?
You can catch me at linktree.com. linktree.com/Cheyenne the Voice to get all of my social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter.
Woo!
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 And once again, where can
is the OnlyFans working yet?
The OnlyFans ain't up yet, but it's coming, just like me.
You got to subscribe to that. But until you subscribe to that, get yourself a Cheyenne plush, buddy.
That's right. They're gone.
They're gone?
The Cheyenne plush, the Cheyenne Cuddle Buddies, they sold out.
Oh, you see that? Look at that. You got to get on that.
Both of them? Both of them sold out?
They all sold out, and then the only one left is the life size, ladies.
Yes, which, you get a couple shots in him, and you get to cuddle with the real Cheyenne.
That's right.
Woo! Well, gentlemen, thanks for being here. Once again, until next time, party out.
Hey, baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh, my. And maybe you seem a bit confused. Yeah, baby, but I got you pinned. Ha, 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.